It felt like Ndamukong Suh knew what was coming in the playbook for the help of the Buccaneers, and it was just one of those games that you're just amazed at by the Buccaneers. Um, played a game usually that they don't, which they have to score. They had a team record high 55 points in it, so there you go. Um, Marcus Peters for the LA defense did have a pick six. It kind of brought LA back, but after all, the Buccaneers win, like I said, 55-40. Winston had 385 yards, passing 4 touchdowns, 1 pick. Jones, the second, had 70 rushing yards and 1 touchdown. Barber had a touchdown for the uh, Buccaneers on the ground. Chris Goodwin had a great game. 172 yards, receiving 2 touchdowns. Mike Evans had 89 yards for a touchdown. Brate had a touchdown. Like I said, with the defense, Sue picked up a fumble. Barrett forced the fumble. With the LA Rams, with the comeback, Jared Goff threw 68 times. They did not rush much. Just 11 carries the whole game for LA. Goff threw for 517 yards. I think that was the third most or fifth most in history. 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. Or no, I'm sorry, 3 interceptions for Goff. Gurley did have 2 touchdowns rushing. Woods had 164 yards receiving. Kupp had 121 and a touchdown. Cooks with 71, 54 for Gurley, 44 for Everett, 41 for Higbee. Everett, the tight end, did score a touchdown. It was just one of those crazy, crazy games that, you can't believe what happened. So let's go to the Sunday night game. It was in New Orleans. It was the 2-1 um, Saints hosting the Reno Cowboys. And shout out Matthew Barty, his Saints going up against Matt's Cowboys. And this one was pretty quick to say. It was just a field goal fest. The defense for New Orleans just stopped the Dallas offense. It was pretty odd to see Dallas not do what they've been doing, but you could just say, hey, they finally played someone that was worth their time. The game's first touchdown did come at the 7:47 mark in the third quarter. Uh, Early interception was thrown by Bridgewater, but again, the defense was good enough to not let that affect the game. At the end of the game, Dak Prescott down 10-12 had a very viral moment where he threw and tried to get Galloway there, or no, it was Cooper, excuse me, um, in the four defenders of New Orleans, and they knocked it down. Surprisingly, one of the four Saints couldn't pick it off, but Dak couldn't lead him back. It was 12-10 final New Orleans. 223 yards passing for Prescott only. No touchdown and 1 pick. Elliott with only 35 yards and 1 touchdown. Wooden had 50 yards. Jaron had 3 for 49. Cooper had 5 for 48. Cobb with 3 for 41. Elliott out of the backfield at 6 for 30, all receiving. Real defensive game. New Orleans had a game plan, and they did it. Prescott, the Bridgewater here, 193 yards passing, no touchdowns, 1 pick. Kamara had 69 yards rushing. Hill was 16. Thomas had 95 yards receiving for the Saints. Finally had a great great game. But that was really it. It was just a real defensive game, and Sunday night everybody was expecting um, something great to come out of it. Because it was on a Sunday night, but uh, that wasn't the case unless you were a Saints fan. Now Monday, the last game of the week 4, it was the 0-3 Bengals and the 0-3 Steelers. Cincinnati did draw first blood 3-0, and then the Steelers ended up scoring 27 unanswered, and they won 27-3. Dalton was sacked 8 times, and he was frustrated, understandably. The offense was bad, and the defense after a while was really bad. They let Connor go, and the blocking for Dalton was really bad. Like I said, 8 sacks. Defense was awesome. Steelers awesome. T.J. Watt had a great game for Pittsburgh. Andy Dalton, 171 yards passing with 1 pick, no touchdowns. Mixon had 62 yards. Tate with 50, Ross with 36, Boyd with 33, Efford with 27. Eford, excuse me. For Mason Rudolph and stepping in big shoes of Big Ben, 229 yards passing, which was great to see if you're a Steelers fan. 2 touchdowns and no picks. Connor had 42 yards rushing. Samuels with 26 and a touchdown. Connor also had a receiving touchdown with 83 yards on eight receptions. Johnson had 77 yards receiving with a touchdown. Samuels with 57. Juju with only 15. And I think the main thing was with the Steelers and Watt with a fumble recovery, and Steelers also Hayward and Dupree causing fumbles as well. Uh, that was just a typical Steeler game, keeping the opposing team down, and that's what it was. Definitely for the Pittsburgh Steelers tonight, Monday Night Football, and that was the end of Week 4. And on my picks, I was only 8-7, so that was pretty disheartening, let's say. And there was some news. Ramsey didn't play for Jacksonville. He traveled with the team, but he never practiced the whole week. I think they're still trying to trade him, but trying to find the best deal. Melvin Gordon came back from the holdout, but he wasn't playing. Melvin Ingram got hurt in the game, and he was in street clothes. I don't know how he'll status be against Denver next week. Like I said, Burfict was suspended. That was the big news of the day. Chubb had a torn ACL for Denver. He played through it. He got a sack through it. But he's out for the season. Something that I've always wanted to do, I keep forgetting the standings of the football of the NFL after a quarter of the season gone by, 1/4. Let's start in the AFC East. It's New England at 4-0, Buffalo at 3-1, 0-3 Jets as they had a bye, and Miami at 0-4. AFC North, Cleveland, Baltimore tied at 2-2. Pittsburgh with 1-3, and Cincinnati 1-4. The AFC South, everybody's tied at 2 wins, 2 losses. Craziness in that division for sure. In the AFC West, it's the 4-0 Chiefs, the 2-2 Chargers, and the 2-2 Raiders. The Broncos at 0-4 with some real bad luck for sure. In the NFC, in the East, it is the Cowboys at 3-1. And then in second place, tied, it's Philly and the Giants 2-2, and the Washington 0-4. For the NFC North, Green Bay and Chicago tied at 3-1. Detroit 2-1, and Minnesota at 2-2. For the NFC South, it's a 3-1 Saints, even without Breeze. We'll see how that keeps going. Tampa Bay and Carolina tied for second at 2-2, and the disappointing Falcons at 1-3. The San Francisco 49ers will had a week 4 bye. They are in first place at 3-0, Seattle at 3-1, LA at 3-1, and the Arizona Cardinals at 0-3 and 1 tie. So this, and I should say, Detroit's 2-1 and 1 tie in the NFC North. Somehow they're ahead of the Vikings because the Vikings have one more loss. So I should mention Thursday Night Football coming up, and I hope to do a show before or after the game. It'll be the LA Rams going up to Seattle to face the Seattle Seahawks, and I know I'll have a few people watching that I know, and it will be a spirited event. I know that Seattle, they're always raucous and crazy, but to play Thursday night game, it's always an advantage for the home team and not the road team. That's for sure. So we'll see what happens. That's been a week 4 preview in the chair, or week 4 recap. Watch for my next video. It will be a week 5 preview. So we'll see you then. Goodbye.